We all know that cats have issues with kidney disease. And a lot of times dry kibble really takes its toll on the kidneys. They need a lot more moisture than that. Cats are obligate carnivores. And so, moisture is a very important thing for them. What they normally get, you know, nasty, but they normally get from the.
Welcome to the Pet Care Report podcast by Pet Summits. Here's your natural cat healthcare host, Dr. Megan Barrett.
Welcome back to the Pet Care Report. So our episode today is Bridging the Herbal Gap, Tips for Cat Parents. And we have a really awesome guest today, Rita Hogan. She is a clinical canine herbalist with over 18 years of experience. She is an herbal clinician, educator, speaker, writer, formulator, and energy healer. Rita uses a combination of diet, flower essences, herbs, and phytoembryonic therapies in her full-time clinical practice in Olympia, Washington. This is so awesome. So thanks for joining us today, Rita.
I'm super excited to be here. It's awesome.
Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about your expertise, which is herbs, and our topic, which is always cats. And now, what do you think? Many cat parents think that herbs are only for dogs. So how can we apply your knowledge as a canine herbalist to help cats thrive in a natural way?
Um, so herbs are definitely not just for dogs. There's
Or
so
humans?
many herbs. What'd you say?
I said, or humans.
Yeah, absolutely. So, herbs are definitely for cats. There's a lot of myths out there when it comes to herbs and cats. There's a lot of different types of conflicting information. Um, like if you Google search it, you're going to just see this kind of like horror show of don't give this and don't give that and blah 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 blah. And um cats are not that fragile, in my opinion. That they have some issues with salicylic acid. Okay, so those are the types of herbs that you don't want to give a cat. You could give like a drop or something, but like you kind of shy away from those herbs like meadowsweet and like things that are aspirin is made out of willow. Um, those types of things that are heavy in salicylic acid, you're not gonna give cats, but, like, if you go to there's a great website out there called Pet Wellbeing, right? It's a direct to consumer website, and they have some really great formulas, and almost all of their formulas are for cats and dogs, and they're mainly herbal formulas, and I love using them for cats because they're easy to administer, they're glycerin-based, and, I just have 0 problems giving them to my cat, but I also give my cat whole herbs too, so.
Okay. Can you repeat the name of that company?
Oh, it's called Pet Wellbeing, petwellbeing, .com, and then, there is, Jay and Adrian's website, the 2 Crazy Cat Ladies have some good herbal remedies on their site. I've actually helped them formulate their, hyperthyroid remedy, and we got some good stuff coming in the future, but, I think there just needs to be more education in cats and herbs, and there just isn't a lot out there, and I definitely am out to change that, in the future here.
Yeah, I think like you said, education and also just more research in addition so that we have all these more scientific studies. I know there are definitely some, but that's always, there's always more research done on the pharmaceuticals rather than some of the natural remedies. So hopefully we can get more studies done too to validate a lot of the ones that we know that are effective
Yeah,
and safe.
absolutely.
So, tell us about some specific herbs or natural remedies that you found effective in addressing some of the common issues that cats will have.
Um, there's two herbs out there that I encourage people to try with their cats. Um, one is very well known, but it's again misunderstood, and that's catnip. Um, Catnip is not just to make your cat do crazy things, right? And to see them act like a fool. Um, Catnip actually stabilizes the nervous system. It helps calm the cat, even though it looks like they're, "Ah," but they're not stressed when they're on catnip. And, you can give catnip in, like, drop dosages of a tincture or a glycerin, which is a glycerin-based extract, and, help support their nervous system. And you can give it to them dry, and there's nothing wrong with giving catnip on a daily basis to your cats because it does make them less stressed. And because a lot of our little feline friends live in the house, right? It's really important to help their nervous system because for cats that can go outside, like my cats, they live in the house, but we put them on their little harnesses and then we go out in the yard with them and let them do their little thing every time it's nice out. Um, but they still not getting that interaction with the planet, with with nature, getting their hunt on and things like that. Um, so it's important to really manage an indoor cat stress, and catnip is one of them. And we all know that cats have issues with kidney disease, and a lot of times dry kibble really takes its toll on the kidneys. They need a lot more moisture than that. Cats are obligate carnivores, and so moisture is a very important thing for them. What they normally get, you know, nasty, but they normally get from the blood of animals. And so, kidney disease is a big thing. And so, if we can use herbs and cycle those herbs, like, couple months on, a month off, couple months on, a month off, or you can mix it up, 3 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 2 days off. Um, nettles are kitty friendly. Um, they are, the nettle plant is like the root does something, the leaves do something, the seeds do something. So I like to use the seeds and the leaves for cats in a tincture form. So you could use a glycerate of that, or even an alcoholic tincture. You're giving for cat, the dosage is 1 to 2 single itty bitty drops that come out of a dropper, and there's negligible alcohol in there. It's almost not even registering. It would take 10 of those drops to equal even 1 drop of alcohol. So it's very, very, safe, and dosage is everything, right? And so if you're using a glycerin extract, I probably would use, like, 5 or 6 drops. That's 100% glycerin extract. I would use 5 or 6 drops, um, of the glycerin for a cat twice a day. But if it's the regular tincture, just 1 or 2, even 1 would be a good place to start. But the seed is so good at rejuvenating the kidneys. So, you know, 3 days on, 2 days off of nettle seed can really help cats as they age to like keep kidney disease at bay. And that website that I talked about, Pet Wellbeing, they have 2 formulas that I have found to be very good. And Jay and Adrian have a kidney formula too that you can actually use in conjunction with the Pet Wellbeing formulas. One is urinary gold, and the other one is kidney gold. They call a lot of their stuff gold. But, kidney gold and urinary gold, um, those 2 are very good. For UTIs, I use the urinary gold. Um, and then, Jane Adrian have a wonderful vitamin C supplement, on their website. A lot of people don't know these things, right? So I like to tell people, because you can tell them, but, like, where do I go? I don't know, like, where do I find this, right? Um, Jay and Adrian on the 2 Crazy Cat Ladies have a wonderful, vitamin C supplement on their website. It's, I believe, their kidney remedy, and, it helps cats with many things, kidney, pH levels, but also, like, uh, from getting blocked as well. It's like one of the factors of I just had a male cat go through that. I've never had that in my life, and the reason why he got blocked was stress. We were having some construction done in our home, and I saw him freaking out, right? I shoulda gave him catnip to be,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, hindsight 2020. I shoulda gave him catnip, um, but, and that's something you would do, mind yourself to give those remedies for the nervous system.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
but I didn't everything was just, so much was going on, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, while it was still going on, Carl couldn't pee, and we had to go to the emergency room and get him unblocked, and then, but now he's fine. We're minding but another like, that reminded me of some of the stuff that I could have done for Carl, and another thing that cats are really conducive to what's called flower essences, and stress is a big deal inside the house, and, so I really love, Rescue Remedy,
Oh, yes, me too.
because yes, because it's a really great, flower essence formula that you can put on the inside of the ear tips, and you can also rub it on their fur, you can put it in their mouth, you can put it in their food, you can even put it in their water, and it really helps with fear and anxiety. So, that's where, I would go to first because stress is the underlying, ailment, uh, or condition for so many issues of our little, kitties.
Yeah, very true. And yeah, Rescue Remedy is so gentle and easy to use. So that's a really great tip.
Yeah.
How about digestive problems? Do you have any favorite herbs for that?
Yeah, and what's interesting is if you go on the Google and you Google this plant, it might say that you're not supposed to give it to your cat, but it's not true. Chamomile. Um, and you wanna do the German chamomile, which is the Matria curea, uh, version of it. That's the Latin name. But it's also known as German chamomile. You want to avoid the Roman chamomile. Okay. So, uh, it really helps calm the nervous system down. And and there's a nervous system in the gut. Okay. So, and a lot of people don't realize that either. And the nervous system in the gut needs support because otherwise you get spasms and it's an antispasmodic. I really love that one. And then there's things that are more on the bitter side, like burdock root. I like burdock root. And again, you're giving 1 drop or a glycerin extract, just like 3 or 4 drops uh, twice per day. It can help cats digest their food, and you can also use things that, definitely that dogs use, like marshmallow root and slippery elm to help with the gut. Tremella mushroom, you can get that from realmushrooms.com. Tremella mushroom is excellent. You just take a little pinch and sprinkle it. It doesn't have a taste, so you can sprinkle it on the food, or you can make a little liquid and put a little liquid, on their food, or it can go right into the mouth. But tremella mushroom coats the entire digestive system, and it also helps with like leaky gut, which cats can get from stress. So I love those ones for digestive health for cats.
Yeah, those are really great tips. I've used quite a few of those myself too. And how about for skin issues in cats?
So skin issues are usually what I would call liver issues, right? So the liver pushes out to the skin when cats aren't eliminating correctly and when they're not peeing as much as they should, either or. Um, so I would definitely just do a milk thistle extract for that. That's where I would start. And then the nettles also help with the skin and the liver.
Yeah.
There's another remedy called calendula that works very well. It's a wound remedy, but the skin, the inside of it's also a digestive remedy. You can use it for the digestive system, but it has a good influence on the liver, and that one's a good one. Um, but milk thistle is where I would start for skin issues.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then
really good
stress,
tip.
over grooming can lead to skin issues, stress. So, chamomile, catnip, things that calm down the nervous system are good for that. And you can also use CBD with your cat.
Yeah, definitely. We have a whole episode on CBD. So that's a great tip to circle back to.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the difference between the chamomiles so that people know like why the German versus the Roman would be usable?
They're not interchangeable, in that the Roman chamomile has more constituents that cats and dogs can be more sensitive to. So, I believe it's, noble. I thought it was Nobella, but, chamomile noble, um, and then that's Roman chamomile, and then, Matriarcharia camellia. So that's the German chamomile. And so you just want to make sure. So, you know, herbs are always given by their Latin names because we have these common names for them, right? And the common name can change according to where you live, like where people grew up talking about the plant, right? So the Latin name of that specific plant really helps you make sure you're getting the right plant. And with cats, because they are sensitive, you want to make sure that you're getting the right plant. And chamomile is one of those. And it's not that if you gave your cat one dose of the Roman chamomile, it would, you know, blow up. No, but it's not something might irritate, and it has more toxicity than the other chamomile, which is very low toxicity. And toxicity does not mean fatal death, right? A lot of people are like, "Oh god, it's toxic." You know, toxicity is can also mean irritation or making your dog or cat vomit, right? Or have loose stool or have a reaction. So toxicity can also relate to that. And again, everything is dosage. So you start out really, really low in dosage. And with cats, I'm under 5 drops of almost anything. So, and then if you're using just a little dried herbs, I just start with a pinch, just a little pinch, size appropriate pinch.
Do you believe in, like, self-selection? So letting the cat, um, have a smell and decide if they want that herb
Well, I
as a
think
treatment?
cats do self-selection anyways. Um, good luck at getting a cat to eat something they don't want. I mean, my cat Carl is really nice. You put him on his back, and then I just put the little plastic dropper in his mouth and squeeze, and he goes, and then I tell him what a good boy he is. Uh, but as far like cats can't self-select uh like glycerin tinctures or alcohol tinctures, but dried herbs, um, they could do it, but I think they do it anyways, right? If you're putting something on the food and they're like, I'm not touching that food with that in it, I'm not doing it. It's most likely a self-selection. Um, but like they love wheatgrass or catgrass or catnip. They love those things. They'll usually select them. But yeah, I definitely think that cats can self-select.
Yeah, I've heard that there's, like, a practice some people do where they'll make a little herb garden and have a blanket and put different herbs in different spots on the blanket and see which ones the cat are attracted to.
Yeah, and that practice is very interactive and helps with brain activity too. So you can
Yeah,
have a lot
good
of fun with
enrichment.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. You can
That's
also
great.
do it with essential oils. You can just take little tiny bottles and just take off the cap and make sure it has a reducer in it, not just open so it will spill. But, all you have to do is put them on a surface and a solid surface and take one of the cap off, and a cat will come over and sniff it. They can smell it halfway. I mean, they probably can smell it all the way through the house.
Yeah.
As soon as you take the cap off or the cat off. But yeah, you can do that too, which is very interactive for them, and they'll take a sniff and then most likely walk away.
Yeah, you never know what they're gonna do.
No, you don't.
So, yeah, given those sensitivities that we were talking about, do you just have any general tips for what cat parents should keep in mind when they're introducing herbal remedies?
Yeah, my biggest thing is to go slow. Uh, Start at the lowest dose and increase very slowly. And again, it's a cat, so make sure that you know your dosage range. And like when you buy a formula that like the Pet Well-Being or Two Crazy Cat Ladies, I forgot the name of their line, feline something. They have dosages on their packaging, but take that dosage and cut it by a quarter like go down to a quarter and start there. Because those dosages are just recommendations based on weight, but it's not, it could be it not like not the dosage for your cat, right? So just start out with that. Um, and then again, with dried herbs, just a size appropriate pinch, just, I mean, little pinch,
No
just
need to overdo
little
it.
pinch. No, that's where you start. And then you can add a little, like if you have an adult cat, you can have a couple pinches to their food, but start with a pinch to see if they will avoid the food with it. Or you could do, like the little herb garden and see what, like some of the herbs that you have that they might be interested in, you know, but go slow. Go slow. That's the biggest thing. And because you want to know what's working, you know, there's a lot. What's awesome is there's so many more cat remedies on the market now than there used to be, right? And so there's lots of selection, but you want to know what's working. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to give too much of anything, and you don't want to give it forever if you don't have to. Some cats like in kidney failure or that have more uh like severe conditions may need to be on something for a long time, but you just want to know what's working and what's not working.
Yeah, I think that's really good tip. And also, it's good to write down and keep logs of symptoms that you notice in your pets so that if you start something new, like an herb, and then you see any positive or negative changes, then you can keep track of what's going on.
Yeah, and keeping track of what's going on is great. I love journals. And even if you're not a journaling person, we're not asking you to write, paragraphs, just like the date, what you gave them, how much you gave them, and then like the reactions over the next few days. Like, is there anything new? Like you might notice that they have more pep in their step. Like if you start giving them a mushroom, they might be more excitable. They might have more energy, or they might be more lethargic or just not interested. And that may not be the herb for them, right? So I think that by writing things down, it's just invaluable.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to herbs and natural remedies, sometimes there is that process of trial and error and seeing what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think especially with cats who have been on like a indoor lifestyle and dry food, for example, you start introducing new things and herbs, they might be, a little bit surprised by that. So I love your advice of just going really slow, introducing very small amounts.
Really slow.
Yeah, because I think if you do too much at a time, then you can create this aversion to the new thing, even though it may not be something that's bad for them, but it just might be too much all at once. In cats, I think you have to introduce things very slowly so that they're not put off by this new type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you know, don't like try to vary it in that, you know, don't make it every time you go to pick them up and put them in a certain position that they're going to get some medicine, right?
Yeah, they're
Vary
smart.
that.
They'll learn.
Yeah. Pick them up and just cuddle them or play with them in that same position. Or, don't just pick them up just every time they're getting something that they, may not find totally exciting. Kind of vary it so they don't get all freaked out all the time and start associating normal behaviors to getting things that might not taste all that great.
I agree. Now, in terms of the conflicting information about the safety of herbs for cats, how would you recommend that pet owners are going to be able to safely navigate this, the use of herbs, but also avoiding the common risks?
Um, the use of herbs and avoiding the common risks. Well, you know, I think when you're starting out with herbs, I would use already like formulas. Like if you're starting out with something, then go to trusted companies like Pet Wellbeing and Two Crazy Cat Ladies. Ask questions. Um, if you find something on someone's website, like there's Myco Dog, which I think 2 Crazy Cat Ladies carry this too, but they're like mushrooms for dogs. I mean, sorry, mushrooms for cats. Sorry, I'm a canine herbalist. So, um, I got to get back into kitty language, but mushrooms for cats, right? Breathing mushrooms, vitality mushrooms, and then mushrooms for the brain. Uh,
Yeah, those are
yeah,
really great.
yeah, cats do really well on mushrooms, and the glycerin bait extract for cats is awesome. Um, And they also do fine on mushroom powders. So realmushrooms.com. Uh, I carry a bunch of stuff on my website, Canine Herbalist, but all you have to do is, send me an email asking questions. But go to any company that you see and say, hey, is that herb okay for my cat? And um, they should get back to you and have that information. If they don't get back to you, then I just wouldn't use them. I would give it a couple of attempts. People are busy, and especially this time of year, they just, everyone's just crazy busy. But don't be afraid to ask questions. Um, I have a book, it's called The Herbal Dog, but in my book, I have a huge amount of herbs that I cover, like over 30, and mushrooms and different types of products. I do mention how to dose for cats and if those herbs are safe for cats or not. I wish it was called the herbal cat, but it's not. But I did not forget our kitty friends because I felt that it was important because I have cats and I happen to be a crazy cat lady. I am. I've always had cats. Um but I've always been like a dog person who has a cat, right? I've never been without a cat. And
Yeah, I think a
now
lot of
I
people
have
have both.
yeah, I've changed my status to equilibrium. Like I got a ragdoll cat named Oscar, and then I rescued this other cat off the streets of California through a friend of mine. I saw him on the internet and I'm like, that's my cat. Like I gotta
Oh,
have that cat. And so we did, we had like a relay coming down from California to Washington with the kitten. And Carl and Oscar are like this now. Like they love on each other all day long. They're so sweet and cute together. And oh my God, I'm so glad that cats live so long because I just can't imagine my life without them right now. They are, oh, just in my family, we have this term called muka, right? And they're my muka. They're like mukas. I love them. They're
oh.
just dear to my heart. And so when I was writing my book, it called The Herbal Dog, but like this whole section, want to show you how big it is. When I was writing it, I thought, I can't forget about my cat friends, right? And I would love for a really good book in the future to deal with cats, on a cat specific basis. And I'm trying to pull that off with some other people that someone people might know. But uh it's a whole section. This is all about herbs. It deals with herbs specifically, dosages, and what they're used for. And it applies to cats as well. And it has, can use for kitty, yes. And then I talk about dosing cats as you dose cats. When you dose cats, you and if you're talking about dogs, you dose a cat like a extra small dog or a small dog. And for me, a small dog is under 20 pounds, under 20 pounds. And cats don't normally get any bigger than that. They can, but I still would dose a cat as an extra small or a small dog. Um, Cats under 10 pound, under like 12 pounds, I dose them as an extra small dog. And that's like a Yorkie or a teacup Chihuahua, little tiny ones, right? And, but like for liquid dosages, glycerates, I'm under 5 to 6 drops, uh, 2 to 3 times a day. That's my maximum dose. I just never had to use anything more than that. But there are some awesome holistic vets out there that are really taking on the kitty mission, and I love that. And there's more to come for that. And I hate, not hate, but I know I keep plugging Jane Adrian, but the two sick crazy cat ladies have really taken that on too as becoming this source, holistic source for um for the cat community and cat health. And I love that. And then there's people like Jackson Galaxy, who deals with a lot with flower essences and different, healing modalities. And I just love seeing holistic conversations around our cats because I think they're often overlooked for, people like me who used to be a dog person with a cat, right? Um, Putting all my energy into my dogs, and then, it's my cat. My last cat did live till 23. So he did
Oh, that's
pretty good.
amazing.
But yeah, but uh yeah, so I just love what you guys are doing. I love this conference and what else can I answer?
Well, we're coming to the end of our time. So I think what we want to know is what your number one tip would be for cat owners to go away with today and implement right now.
Um Based on our conversation right now, I would say uh get some organic catnip
Yeah,
and start giving it to your dog your cat on a daily basis. Get some organic catnip. Start using it. Don't forget, right? Don't forget. And I would also get some rescue remedy and then have those kidney remedies, those nettle and nettle seed or the urinary gold or the stuff from Jade Adrian. Have that on hand so that if you start seeing your cat show any signs of kidney uh, weakness, that you start giving them those remedies right away because it's when you catch it early, it's so important.
yeah. It's great to experiment with things ahead of time instead of waiting for the crisis to happen and then you don't have you're
Yes,
empty-handed.
being reactive versus proactive
Yeah,
and but my biggest thing for all cats is to feed a moisture-rich diet. It is
agreed.
yeah, it's more
100%.
important than anything for kitties, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Rita, for your time. You're certainly a wealth of information, and it's been such a pleasure having you.
Thank you, and thanks for your patience with my dog bloopers.
Oh, no problem. Well, I understand. So, besides your book, where else can the audience learn more from you? For example, your website or social media.
Yeah. So my book can be purchased anywhere you buy books, and I can be found at Canine Herbalist on Instagram, Canine Herbalist on Facebook. I have a store called canineherbalist.com. It has a whole bunch of different types of remedies in it, and you can always email us about cats. Um, and then I have some courses uh, at canineherbalism.com. Uh, that is a school. It's my ethos school of holistic canine herbalism. But almost all my courses can be adapted for kitties. So I never forget my feline friends.
Yeah, that's awesome to know that you're also the feline herbalist, not just the canine, even though I know you have to name yourself at some point and
Yeah, well,
have
I've
it
been
be
focusing on
somewhat
dogs
limited.
forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I'm willing to step over the line there to a different species and our
Yeah. It's
sweet
the
little
feline world.
yes, the feline world because I have went Looney Tunes for my cats.
Yeah, me too. All right. So, anyone listening, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe, leave reviews if you found this interview interesting. That way, we can reach more cat owners who might also benefit from this information.